Hi everyone and welcome to Interfaith Dialogue. I'm Vina Vo and I'll be your host for today. On this week's episode, we have a very special guest from Toronto's Council Fire Native Cultural Center. Patricia, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes. So can you tell me about your brief history, how you came here and how you got into the Cultural Center?
Sure, absolutely. So Council Fire is, as you know, is located at the corner of Parliament and Dundas, the beautiful lavender building there.
Yes.
And so we offer several different services. And my role specifically is working with Indian residential school survivors who want to relink to their families, to their communities, and to cultural practices specifically. So that's what I do, is try to facilitate the ability to relink from loss of culture due to residential school.
If a person were to come in to the Cultural Center and to come up to you to, be reconnected to their culture, to their family, what should they expect coming in?
Well, coming into Council Fire has an array of programs. So we could have program services for an expecting mom all the way to somebody in their senior years. So it's all depending on what your needs are specifically. So we can provide services that teach people to read, that help people get ready for job searches, re-entering the education system. So it all depends on what your specific needs are, really.
Is it difficult for you to work with people who are from different tribes? Because not Aboriginal people, they're not all just one group, right? There's different nations. So what's your experience with that?
Yeah, you're correct. Not every nation has the same practices, protocols, or processes or rituals. And again, for myself, it's been a learning opportunity as well to learn the practices of other territories. And I say territories because mainly our nations come from the area that we resided from. And although the main goal of all of the practices have the same goal, the main goal, the practices the rituals are a little bit different. And so I've learned how to approach different spiritual leaders of different territories in order to get access to those specific rituals on a needs basis.
Well, there are some people out there who don't know residential school. Can you give us a brief history about what it is and what happened?
Well, a quick synopsis of residential school itself was actually a federal program to get rid of Aboriginal identity. And so children were warehoused, taken from their families and their communities and warehoused, and with a huge effort to try to rid of any Aboriginal identity whatsoever. And so a lot of people never reconnected with the families that they were taken from, and a lot of people were never reconnected back to their home territories. And so, very quick intro to residential school. It was actually a federally run program. And so now, those of us that are committed to the process of the healing process, we work very hard to make sure that we create those linkages back to community and culture. And so I think what's really important here that people understand is that even though it says history, it also is something that people are still currently living and recovering from. So it's very current, it's very today. People are still trying to heal from the entire process and the entire idea. And for such a long time, it was a dirty, quiet secret that the government had for a long time, that the general public didn't know the truth. So now that it is out in the open, people are free to a sense of being free from that whole system of being from being hurt because of being from a specific race.
And you want people to be aware of the past, you want people to acknowledge it and not repeat it for the future.
Absolutely.
Now, on that topic, what would you like the government or like the policymakers out there to do? Because I mean, it was pretty recent where Stephen Harper apologized, to the First Nations about what happened. Are there any changes happening? What would you like to happen?
Well, one of the things that always comes forward when we discuss moving forward from the healing is making sure that Canada knows the truth, and one of the things in particular that they want to stress is teaching young people and the next generation about this past, this dark mark on the Canadian government, and making sure that people know the truth and its accurate history.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Patricia. Very honored to interview you. Well, that's it for today's show. I'm Vina, I'm your host, and we'll see you next week for Interfaith Dialogue.